Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Akim and Yahawah that are listening and learning and going out and doing the work. Barak the Yahawah, Barak the Yahawashi, bahasham, quadash, Barak atham. So, a lot of things going in Yahawah today. And in particularly, we've all been chastised and rebuked over this one because here it is, though, very few defended the gospel this last week when ISUPK, had people within it saying that John the Baptist fell out of the truth. And that's just blasphemy, So blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, blasphemy of quadash, blasphemy against His word had actually happened, and yet no one was there to defend it, It was only a few that actually spoke up on it, and Apostle Ramla had to get on everybody, where y'all at? And yet, it was so bad what ISUPK did that even radical Christianity would never have stooped to that low. Radical Christianity wouldn't have even spewed out those kind of words. They would have, and even they were asking questions. Even Vocab Malone's like, man, this guy's going off. So if they were to defend their version of the gospel, where were we at? Where were y'all at? So, it's just one of those things we got to take it up. It's like, man, you don't just pick and choose a time when you're going to defend. You see somebody coming against the truth. You see the love of many waxing cold and all that. What are you supposed to do? Defend the gospel. Be prepared to defend the gospel at all times. We buck up and we are ready to defend our gospel when a Christian might approach us, and we do it in such a way. If we're passionate about that, well, what about when people within Yahawah are speaking blasphemies? We should be defended against that too, and we can see though that yes, it's true that we don't take them serious because we know this truth. But at the same time, though, yes, you're going to have members of the elect still within ISUPK, IUIC, HODC. Yeah, because not all members of the elect are in Great Millstone. And especially, because we have too many bug-outs within Great Millstone, that the decree had to be out there that there would be no new members in Great Millstone. Pretty much, man, the door's getting shut, and because there's just too many bug-outs there. You got to separate the wheat from the tares. We got too many tares. So, you have all these things going on. But, you don't just pick and choose a time when you're going to defend the gospel, So it's a rebuke that we as a nation got to look at, Because make no mistake about it, we don't have much more time left on YouTube. And that those guys are going to be on there. And then it'll be real easy for guys like Vocab Malone to say, you see the heresy that they teach? Because they're going to say just because this one group says that all of them say it, Because they'll use that. And that's probably what the whole plan was, is to use it. So, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, Paul writes, verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And it's more than just falling out of the truth. That was straight up blasphemy. That was blasphemy to say that John the Baptist, fell out of the truth. And for this cause, Yahawah shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. So anybody that's actually listening to that and believing that, and believes that lie, is definitely going to perish because the love of them is not in them. The love that they might be saved. They that all might be damned who believe it not in the truth because they had pleasure in unrighteousness. And that's just it, though. The Most High, has allowed these strong delusions to come out, and these stumbling blocks to come out. But if you're a member of the elect, then you need to point out these heresies, because then they could say, well, okay, there they were, defending the gospel. So that's what we are to do. We don't just pick and choose a time. We have to defend it at all times against whomever, whether they be in Yahawah or they be in, the rest of the world. But we are bound to give thanks always to Yahawah for you, brethren, beloved of the Most High, Because Yahawah hath from the very beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief of the truth. Whereunto he called you by our gospel to obtain the glory of our power, Yahawah bahasham Yahawashi, Hamashiach. Again, we now have the name. We have the names. For a long time, those names were removed from us. We thought it was Jesus Christ, But, you see, now that we've received that and all that, now we got to defend the actual gospel. Because we can see, though, that radical Christianity is willing to defend theirs. They're constantly making videos, And they actually were the first to speak against what ISUPK was saying. So, it's just a strong rebuke, man. And we got to be on top of this, man. We're this close to the end. The door is getting shut to where, we ain't going to be out here much longer. And now we'll be accountable. It's like, well, where were you to defend the gospel when people came up against the gospel? Where were you? Because make no mistake about it, they are using this coronavirus to shut everything down, even though it hasn't been that bad of an outbreak, especially among Esau Edom, but they're using it. Hell, they're even, there's rumor going around that they may even cancel WrestleMania this year over the coronavirus panic. Yeah, man, and WrestleMania is going to be in Tampa Bay. But they're saying that they may even cancel that. That's a rumor that's going around. So we're going to hear rumors of wars. Well, this is a warning of famine, And like everything else, though, even in Italy, they have shelves going out, man. Declared national emergency. San Francisco, not too far from here, declared national emergency over this pandemic, Even though, I think there's only been like 83 contracted disease reports over here. Still, though, man, Esau's going to use it. They don't want to let a good crisis go to waste, And you already know what's going on with Wuhan, and all the places. You see how they are dealing with that, and you know that that's coming over here, So, anyhow, it looks like they might be just building another place in lieu of Kmart that closed, but still the Shopko building is empty. That could be a FEMA center. There's so many places that have closed down here that may not be rebuilt, or just may take so long to rebuild that they'll use it as such, because like I said, once the car fire happened, that became a FEMA center and people got relocated, They took the deal, man, and it's just like, cool, okay, I'll be compensated for this, and they got relocated. Then they were never heard from again, And the people that didn't fall for it, where do you think they are? Out on the streets, man. And there was already a homeless population here, 30,000. The other place that I teach at, a good portion of the time, man, I got to be respectful of them because there's 2 or 3 people homeless, sleeping, where I teach at, and I got to be quite respectful when I go over there and I place the sign up and everything, Can't get too loud, man. Oh, man, we ain't here to create a ruckus and all that, But you can see, though, that, man, the sanctity of this place, man, the mirth that it once had, all ceasing. Babylon is ceasing from its power, man. It has fallen from heaven, if you will. It's fallen from its place, man. Pretty much these other countries, the weak, are saying that they are strong now. They have strong economy. And we can see, though, that Esau had definitely manufactured this thing because where's it affecting mostly? The Strait of Hormuz, right? And the China seas. It isn't China competing against the U.S. dollar? Isn't there been a trade war? Think about it. By spreading this disease and all that, that buys America just a little more time. It also causes disease in the Strait of Hormuz, where, that last pay-per-view event of WWE, man, they were wearing the masks right there in Saudi Arabia. And, because in the so-called free Arab world, man, they travel a lot back and forth to Tehran and all them places, man. So, yeah, man, they're hazmated, they're face masked, wearing the gauze, Reminds you of the car fire, man, that was here, I was doing lessons on the street wearing the gauze, because, of course, man, that smoke was pretty heavy, But these plagues are coming, and like everything else, it's mostly affecting Moabites, because of their deplorable conditions, but the fact that Esau is spreading this virus on purpose, think about it, though. Isn't that a way of bringing in the mark? I mean, we can see, though, that the mark is right around the corner. Amazon is getting even heavier. And do we not coin 2019 as the year of Karagma? This wouldn't be when Esau starts pushing the market, and we've seen more and more push for it. Amazon wants to turn your hand into a credit card. Elon Musk is out there, wanting to give you that brain chip, to link you to the computer. Computer banks pretty much rule the world, and so they want everything digital. And what better way, now, China was already burning cash before this thing got started, but now even more so, because they can say that's the spread of the virus. And that's the perfect plan, isn't it? Get everybody on the chips, man. That places like Persia, all of them would be willing to do that, to make sure that, the spread of the virus doesn't happen. They'd be willing to burn cash. Hell, man, they got all kinds of sanctions against them anyways. So, of course, they would go for the digital cashless society, but that's the trap, man. PayPal is one of the worst out of all them digital technologies, man, because you're at their mercy, man. Do you get paid when you sell something? You've already paid the expense to go and mail it and everything, and you've gotten rid of the very thing that you're trying to sell, but then you have to wait with PayPal, especially if you're the new seller. You gotta wait 2 or 3 weeks to be paid. And then, here's what happens. They can exchange that good item with a broken item and say that you sold them a broken item that wasn't working, and they get their money back through PayPal, and then you get a broken item. That's what this digital technology is, man. You're totally at their mercy. And people can lie, man. I've already had this happen before with a Super Nintendo. I, in good faith, sold the Super Nintendo. It didn't have any power cords. It was an extra one. I just needed to get a little extra cash, at the previous place I was at. And well, on top of that, oops, I made a mistake. I didn't change my address because I just got in that place, so I didn't change my mailing address. So they mailed the thing back to another address I was no longer living at. And then I tried to say, well, they mailed it the wrong address. Well, that's just too bad. You didn't change it, so I was out the money twice. So, man, this digital technology, it really actually sucks. You're totally at their mercy, And PayPal is pretty much, one of the main digital technologies. It's been around a long time because that's always been the way on eBay, and a lot of other companies have adapted to that. Hell, I think that even Walmart takes PayPal, They have PayPal credit cards too. So, that's just one of many things. I call it pay fuck, man. You get fucked, man. And that's how this whole money scheme is really ran, Government bailouts and all those things, But make no mistake about it, man. It's a lot more than just falling off the truth, man. These guys are just speaking pure blasphemy. But you see, the love of the truth. Many are waxing cold, though, and actually listening to these guys, I mean, you got to think about that, that others may actually listen to these guys, but where were they to actually defend the gospel? Who was there to defend the gospel? Do we really have to wait till the apostles get on to us for not defending the gospel? See, that's a strong rebuke right there, and yes, I'm ashamed for having to wait until Apostle Ramla put that up there, because when I seen that, I should have got on it, man. You don't just pick and choose a time, It's something you make a response to when you see things like that, You want to get on that, so, no more slacking in this thing, man. We're almost at the finish line anyway, so there's just no more slacking, because the love of this truth is waxing cold, that people might actually listen to those other guys saying that John the Baptist wasn't in the truth, that he fell out the truth. Because they have gotten to that point that they now might actually start listening to him. So, again, this letter here, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, starting verse 1, man, is really getting to that point. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our power, Yahawashi HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that you should not be shaken in mind or in trouble, neither by spirit nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as the day of Hamashiach is at hand. You know? So that's just it, man. The day of the Lord is at hand. Think about how close we are to this. We see everything falling. We see, though, that they're pushing the mark. We see that, they are burning cash, and that everything's moving towards that. And they're getting us off the street. They're shutting down our channels. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And we fell as a nation, man. It wasn't until we were awakened again. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Well, who is that son of perdition? Are we not revealing him? Have these red Hebrew Edomites not been exposed for everything? Now that they've been exposed and all that, what's left? Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship. Think about that, though. All the iconoclasm images and all that, the imagery is of them, man. That they are gods, the Romans, man, especially after the 14th century, man, and what they did. So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Caesar Borgia image and just all the other images you see. The angels being little Cupid babies, of Edomites, man. Edomite power, man, So pretty much everything in the world has those images up now. Remember you not that when I was with you, yet I told you these things, Again, that's just it, man. We're out here, we're telling you about what's to come. We're telling you about the mark of the beast. And he was telling us that this man of sin would be coming, and that everything we worship this man. Does everything not worship Esau, Edom, Amalek, all of it, man? For a long time you thought that they were the Jews, until finally it come out that these dry bones had waken up, and we woke up to this truth. And thinking about it, though, this man of sin has been revealed, that you know that withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time, and we're in that timeline now. We didn't know anything about this. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And again, now that thing that was holding them back is no longer, now taken out of the way. Now the Spirit has awakened us as to who this man is. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Again, the brightness of his coming, the day of the Lord, when missiles are flying, and that bigger chariot comes, and all them other chariots are destroying this place. The brightness of his coming by thermonuclear destruction. And then, of course, the spirit of his mouth, man. Mouth of the prophets have been revealing who this man is. This man of sin, that everything that he does is in contrast to what the Most High teaches. Everything that he's set up is contrast to what the Most High teaches. And that's what Satan really means. It means adversary, contrast to what the Most High is, But Satan, the angel, actually works for the Most High. Why? Because, it's an order, man. It's an order of things. You will be tested for this faith. You will be tested. And when people buck up against this truth, you will be tested to see if you're going to defend this, or if you're just going to sit back on the sidelines and just watch while others are actually blaspheming, Because is that not what Esau did too? Did he not blaspheme when he put up that image and said that he was the Son of the Most High? And said that he was the Most High? And that everything that was worshipped was Esau? The images, all that. That they are the man of God, they are the priests, they're the preachers, that you're supposed to listen to them. Yeah, man. Think about that. We're supposed to be defenders of this gospel. And that's just it, though. Our gospel be hidden. We're not supposed to be hidden. Now's the time that we're supposed to be out here. We're supposed to be consuming this evil one with the spirit of our mouth. And, pretty much, man, and it has. I'm not saying that it hasn't. Oh, it most certainly has. That's why all these things are coming to be. Everything's coming to pass, but also we're in that time where the love of this truth that they might be saved, they are waxing cold and are actually starting to listen to guys like that, you know? I mean, think about it, though. They take the whole prophecy of the mark of the beast, you know, as a joke. You know, they'll say it's everything else, but they won't tell you that it's a microchip, when even radical Christianity will tell you that it's the microchip. They know. In Bible Belt states, they know that the mark of the beast is the RFID, and they will die resisting that chip. Guaranteed. You know? You can talk about those apostolic Pentecostals, man. They will refuse that chip. So, again, you know, what's going on in our nation, man? Are we not supposed to know more than them? You know, but yet it's these bootleg camps that teach you that the mark of the beast is something else, and yet there's only one main camp. Among that is Great Millstone and those joined unto it, because anybody who's actually in this truth, 100% truth, is going to be joined unto Great Millstone in one form or another, because we have it. We know what the mark of the beast is, and we are the defenders of this gospel. That's what our calling is. Making sure our call and election is for sure. Making sure that when we be remembered on this side, that our names are written, that people be writing about us. As so, in the letters, man, we know that John the Baptist was written about, so we know that his name was sealed in this Lamb's Book of Life. But is our name sealed in there? Are people going to remember what we done? You know, that's just it, though, is are you diligent? We had the year of death, diligence, and destruction. There was a lot of weeding out that year, you know. Pretty much, man, a lot of camps, they got shut down, and we got, you know, chastened. And pretty much, though, you know, those that stayed strong, man, are still out there, still teaching. Just look at the apostles, still out there teaching. And they've been doing that for 30 plus years. You know, especially Apostle Tahar, but those joined unto him, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Gabar, they've been out there for a very, very long time. And they haven't lost their passion yet. They're still just as passionate about this as they were yesterday, as they are today. And it's a great thing that we can have elders and apostles like that, you know. But like everything else, though, you know, we have to be just as passionate about it. So, you know, when others come with these philosophies and all that, we got to be ready to defend at all times, man. Because again, you know, we will be tested for this, you know. And that was a test, you know. So it's like, okay, you know, we will be tested as to see, well, who's going to defend this gospel, you know. You know, and, you know, 2 John verse 2, or 3 John chapter 1 verse 2, you know, and it reads, Behold, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth, you know. For I rejoiced greatly when the brethren came and testified of the truth that is in thee, even as thou walkest in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. You know, is that to be said now? Beloved, thou dost faithfully whatsoever thou dost to the brethren and to the strangers. When have borne can't read this. Alright, something's going on with this. Alright, there it is. Alright. Because that for his name's sake they went forth taking nothing of the Gentiles. We therefore ought to receive such that we might be fellow helpers to the truth, you know. So that's just it, man. We got to contend for this truth, man. You know, I wrote unto the church, but Destophus, who loveth to have the preeminence among them, receive us not. Wherefore, if I come, I will remember his deeds which he doeth, prating against us with malicious words, and not content therewith, neither doth he himself receiveth his brethren, and forbiddeth him that the would, and casteth him out of the church. So again, man, we need to be casting down the, things like that, man. We're going to be put to the test. That's the whole point of that. For some reason that app started messing up. But, and that's another thing, though, is that here it is, though, that, we're at the very seventh inning stretch, if you will. So we need to be making home runs with this, because this is the last of the stretch, So giving diligence for everything, man. Being diligent about this, And yeah, you can see, though, that what's happening, man, that the spirit that holdeth back is no longer holding back, Plagues are coming upon the earth. The mirth of this place is no more. And pretty much blasphemy is out there, and we're just waiting, But, this is not the time to sit back and just, even though, technically we're sitting in, we're in the waiting room, but at the same time, though, man, when we see stuff, man, we need to call it out, and we got to be on our defenses, at the defense at all times, We know that martial law is right around the corner, and that you see what they've been doing in China. Even though, this disease really hasn't hit everyone else like it has with that, but this still, though, they're going to use it. They're going to use it to regulate. Again, San Francisco recently declared a state of emergency. Then you have other places that do. And the talks of WrestleMania being canceled, that's a pretty big event. And I don't know if they've shut down Disney World or Disneyland yet. I'll have to look into that. Because it's quite obvious, though, that, man, they're just not letting this even die down in the news. Almost every report is out there on that. But at the same time, while that's going on in Syria, man, you got Gomer and all his bands, pretty much now retaking areas that the Syrian Arab Army had recently conquered from the terrorist groups. Gomer and all his bands have been retaking these places, been entering into Syria and chasing back the Syrian Arab Army. So you can see that Plan B and Plan C have already come forward, and like everything else, though, this war ain't ever going to die down. Bashar al-Assad, being the good leader that he is going to do everything he can to, retain peace and stability, but at the same time, Syria's going to be destroyed. Ultimately, at the very end of it, Damascus does eventually get lost. And you can see the white helmets provocating for the next false flag chemical attack, along with Gomer and all his bands, to provocate, just so that way there'll be an excuse to attack Syria. Because that's what they always do, is they fabricate stories and say that Assad is using chemical weapons, when who created the coronavirus to begin with? Who's really using this bioweapon? Is it Assad? Or is it, in fact, Esau Edom that is using this as a bioweapon? Who developed this bioweapon? Was it not developed out of a science research facility? Was there not plans back in the 80s about this? Think about it. Who has the chemical weapons? The U.S. government. Good old Uncle Sam has it, But he's going to pretend to be the hero, right? The so-called liberator, when he's the terrorist himself. He's the master schemer of it. So they're going to try to provocate this false flag chemical attack. But like everything else, though, man, the alternative media is constantly on that, and letting you know that, so they postpone. But the inevitable is going to happen. That Syria is the valley Yahawashi pot, that's the biggest part of it. And Syria will always be that hotbed, because at the same hour when this place gets destroyed, at the same time Damascus ceases from being a city, becoming a ruinous heap. And we can see, though, that what does it say about when this place is destroyed? That he will destroy the sinners of my people out of it? Think about that, You don't want to be among that, but yet here it is, though, is that, this blasphemy has gone out. And there are many that don't believe that they're going to be saved. They just don't believe in this anymore, so now they're just spewing out madness, blasphemies, And what is another name of this beast? The name of blasphemy? Esau, Edom? The name of blasphemy? Think about it, They put their images up, so that all that is worships them, If you don't believe in the democracy will come for you. Everybody's been a believer of that, And look at what's happened, man. Nothing but destruction, When they say peace and security, then comes sudden destruction. Is that not how they destroyed us? Destroyed our villages? We thought we had peace with this terrorist, and this terrorist came in and destroyed us. And then there was people among us that were working with the terrorists, Because this whole place is nothing but a hotbed of terrorism, man. The same terrorists that took us down are now taking down Syria and all them other places, among terrorist groups, They say that they're going after the terrorists when they're the ones that created the terrorists. Everybody knows that ISIS was a Zionist creation, that ISIS is really Israeli secret intelligence services, It's always been the least of the flock, Amalek drawing everybody into this. And pretty much, though, every time you think that Syria is about to be liberated from these terrorist groups, these people are about to return to civilization and all that, then comes Amalek, on both sides of it. Even the Golan Heights, and you got Israeli state bombing Damascus all the time. You got false flag chemical provocations coming up, and then you got the terrorist groups coming in from Gomer and all those bands. And yes, you still have Saudi Arabia and Jordan, all them places where the terrorists are coming in, still in Iraq, and these places, they're looking to get rid of these terrorist groups and get the U.S. out of there, because they know that the U.S. are the terrorists, The U.S. is looting the oil, the wealth. They're stealing the wealth to take a spoil, And pretty much, though, all that's been going on for quite a while, too. It's just that, nobody's really talking as much about that because, of course, news is flooded with the coronavirus pandemic, So what a perfect way of destroying people, at the same time, they can be doing other things over there, and, well, nobody's really going to be talking about that because, of course, the coronavirus is the main topic. But at the same time, though, they're looting and stealing everything from Syria, and they've been doing it for quite some time, Everybody knows that America created the terrorist groups themselves and used it as a provocation to go and attack Syria. But now, what's come out, though, is that pretty much, though, is that, think about the name, Jihad John. Jihad John. Does that sound like an Arabic name? Or does that sound like, a Beatle? Where did the Beatles come from, Jihad John, a real American terrorist, more like. So everybody's being gathered into that place. Ezekiel 38, verse 4, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all them handling swords. So again, all these places are there. And what are they fighting over? Resources, man. They're fighting over the territories. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. And think about that, man. Now, you're starting to get more and more headlines of Gomer starting to, pretty much, and they've been doing it a while. It's just now you're starting to hear about it. Spreading their sphere of influence in Libya. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with me, which we know that that's Turkey. Years ago, you knew who that was. You knew that was Turkey, and is Turkey not constantly in the news? Almost every day, man, Turkey is making moves, man, because Turkey is this country that played both sides, man. Plays on the side of Russia, plays on the side of the Allies, but is really the hotbed, you know, that whole area there, the valley of Yahawashi. Be thou prepared, prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are civil unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. You know, so Magog's got to play the part of the peacemaker, set up these buffer zones and set up these de-escalation zones. And, you know, pretty much, man, Gomer is saying it, man, no, we don't want to engage Russia, but at the same time they have been, you know, indirectly, but via proxies, you know. Because, of course, Gomer needs the protection of Magog because, of course, you know, they're buying the weaponry. You know, they're buying the S-400s from them. That's already been a done deal. So, of course, they need their protection. Because, of course, the U.S. was mad. The whore, Babylon the Great, was mad when they bought that. Because now they have a defense shield if America decided to attack them. Because Gomer's not exactly stupid, you know. They know that America, you know, the moment you stop buying so-called American, man, they're going to attack you. Whenever you say you got a system that you want to deal outside, man, you're going to get attacked. Look at what happened to Libya. Well, Gomer ain't going to let that happen, so of course, Magog's being a guard unto them. And many days shall be visited, and the latter years shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Yahawah, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. You know, pretty much, man, all being gathered right there. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. You know, so that's just it, man. They're coming in, man. All these places are fighting there. This is way bigger than Desert Storm was. And look at how many so-called allies there were back then, you know. And that was because they, you know, at first they said it was just to drive Saddam out of Kuwait. But then they came back and said, well, he's got weapons of mass destruction, you know, the false flag 9/11 thing. That's another thing that they say that they're going to finally end, that they got this so-called peace deal with the Taliban now, that they're going to end the 18 years of aggression, you know, against Afghanistan. After all this time, though, saying that they've been fighting the Taliban, when all it is the U.S. setting up the base there to protect the poppy fields. I think, you know, we're stupid to that, you know, the poppy fields, the drugs, because, of course, you know, like everything else, it's always been a power grab. You know, Russia says, all right, you took our drug business, well, now we're going to take your oil business, man. And they've been dealing with Persia, you know, for quite some time, being a guard unto Persia. That's why when America makes its move against Persia, that's it. You know, that's the final call. So what better way than this bioweapon that they created, the coronavirus, now affecting them because, well, you know, we don't know how that got there, you know. I don't know what spread of this disease, but they know, man. They developed that stuff because warfare is how they conquered our villages, man. Gave us smallpox, you know, infected us, you know. It's the way this devil always deals, you know. So we're seeing it, man. We're seeing that everything come to its head. You know, those that spoiled us are now getting spoiled. Thou hast come to take a spoil, you know, and everybody is taking spoils from Syria, man. What do you think ISIS did, man? They took all the treasure hearts, they pretty much, and then they destroyed other ones that they couldn't take, but man, they sold that on the black market, man. All the ancient gods of Syria, man, were sold on the market. You know, pretty much all have come to take a spoil because everybody's had their hand in ISIS, and their lootings has bought from ISIS, which is really the United States. You know, Iran will tell you that great Satan is America, you know, and that they are ISIS. America is ISIS, so, you know, and we know that. We know that there's no Arabs going around saying that they're ISIS, that that's all Gomer and all his bands, and you know, and you know it's the word bands, you know, so Saudi Arabia, all the proxies and all that, bands, proxies. Think about it, Gomer and all his proxies. That's what the words are really saying. So we all know that it's a proxy war against Syria. Technically, it's a proxy world war, because look at the spread and fear of terrorism. You know, that's just it. There was a whole war on terrorism. You know, war on terror. It was all a false flag, man. The whole thing was a hoax. You know, yes, the Twin Towers were brought down by a suitcase nukes, man. That's how they brought it down. You think jet fuel really brought down the buildings? Well, people believe anything. You know, they saw it on TV, man. They saw the planes crash into it, and then they seen the buildings collapse. But they collapsed so fast that it had to be demolition, but nobody really questions the government anymore. You know, of course they have ditto heads, and ditto heads are just about everywhere, man. They're totally oblivious to that. Even though you can see it with your own eyes, it's like, man, how could you be so fucking stupid? Well, that's just it, man. The Pied Piper have been played for so long, man, that everybody's hypnotized in that trance, man. You know, kind of like the Charmers, you know, that play on that flute to mesmerize the snake. That's what's happened, man. That song been playing so long that you can't tell them any difference. They're loyal to their government. You know, good soldier never asks questions, right? You know, that's how they train theirs. But on the flip side of it, we being soldiers of Yahawashi, man, we try to do everything, man. We're totally awakened, you know? So it's quite the opposite for us. We're not in a hypnotism or in a trance, man. Not done by trickery, but yet truth. We see the truth in everything, and then we just say, man, how can everybody else be so bliss? Because it's an opposite power, you know? So pretty much, man, this devil, to get everybody to serve him and all that, has everybody in a bliss, man. A state of bliss. You know? Totally oblivious to what's going on. People think that those that serve in the military are fighting for homeland. When's the last time you've seen it in the face? Oh, yeah, that's right, because people are brainwashed into believing that the illegals are coming over. Yeah, they call us illegal. Yeah, we're illegally crossing borders coming over here. We need to protect the borders, right? Is that not what the king of Babylon said? Yeah, people fall for that too, and to think that, okay, these guys are looking for work and all that, which are the people that were here. This place was called Arsrith. That's what I couldn't come up with last week. I forgot the name was called Arsrith, but that's what this place is. But they, of course, renamed it America, renamed it the Americas, you know. But it's really called Arsrith. It was a peaceful place, man. King Solomon used to do trades with this place. They knew where it was. You know, a turkey was brought back from over here and brought over there to King Solomon's temple. You know, so, nah, man, they didn't discover nothing. They knew he was here. You know, the Most High had allowed this to happen, quite simply because it was a time and a place. You know, prophecy has to be fulfilled. The king of Babylon, though, you know, it's got everybody in that hypnotic state, man. You know, just playing that Pied Piper, man. Just pretty much, you know, people are lab rats, man. They'll believe anything. Ditto heads. And it's been that way for a long time. You know, that's how he deals, you know. Because after all, before we woke up to this truth, we was in a hypnotic state too. We seen that everything was worshipped was Esau, Edom, man. Oh, well, the Jews, yeah, they're over there in that land. You know, we was brainwashed into believing that. You know. But yet, in us, though, those that were the elect, you know, it was just like, man, something ain't right. Something ain't right, man. Oh, man, I don't see that, you know. And, you know, we began questioning everything. And then, eventually, when the time was right, we would quaken and awaken to this, you know. And now's the time, you know. All that trickery and witchcraft will do no good now, you know. We can't be tricked anymore, you know. We see it. We see that this day of judgment is coming, you know. I mean, look at this. Nothing's holding it back anymore. Everything is happening. The businesses are closing. This place was once prosperous. Used to be above all other nations. Been the head of the UN for a long time, but man, people are looking for someone else to broker that. All these places that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. And that's just it, though. Pretty soon, and you're starting to see them pull back even more so. They're going to turn on America and utterly burn her with fire. Because they are sick of it. They're sick of all the lies, all the trickery and all that. Everything America says that it does, man, no. They just come in to set up base and to steal all the wealth from them. Take all the resources, man. You know? So, like everything else, though, man, You know, we can see, though, that this is definitely the gospel, and we have to be prepared to defend it at all times, you know. Let's not wait till the last minute to defend it. Let's defend her at all times, you know, because this word, you know, has to be defended. For that, I want to say, Barak the Yahawah, Barak the Yahawashi, bahasham quadash, wa abba baval. Barak atham, Yahawashi, Shalom.